In 2011, the water at this village rose to 40 meters. Not one house was damaged. The reason was cut into a stone 78 years earlier. "600 kilometers north of Tokyo, the coastline breaks up. The land here is a row of drowned valleys. Rivers cut them when the sea stood lower. Then the sea came up and filled them in. What's left is a coast of narrow inlets, deep, steep, and beautiful. Every one of them a good place to put a village. Sheltered water. Fish, a way out to sea. In open water, a tsunami is almost nothing. A long, low swell. A ship might not notice it pass underneath. But every one of these bays is a wedge, wide at the mouth, narrow at the head. And that is what turns a swell into a wall. The floor rises beneath it, and the sides close in. Aneyoshi sits at the head of one of these. The mouth faces east, straight at the open Pacific. Nothing between it and 5,000 miles of water. A good place to live, and a place shaped exactly to make a wave taller. June 1896. Evening on the Sanriku coast. The ground moved, barely, enough to rattle a few dishes. Nobody left the house. And there was a reason for that. Everyone on this coast knew the rule. Small shakes are nothing. Big ones make waves. That night, the rule broke. The fault under the sea did not snap. It slipped slowly, quietly, along the ocean floor. A body notices movement that turns over in a second or two. This was slower than that. Too slow to shake the land. Fast enough to lift the ocean. 22,000 people died that night. It is still the worst tsunami in Japanese history. At Aneyoshi, when the water went back, 2 people were alive. 37 years later, it happened again. The 3rd of March, 1933. 2:30 in the morning. This time, the ground did shake. Hard enough to wake the coast. People got up. Some went outside to look. The wave came in behind it. 3,000 people died along the Sanriku coast that night. At Aneyoshi, 4 people were left. Twice in 37 years, the same valley had been emptied. And then the survivors did something drastic. They did not rebuild where the houses had been. They moved the whole village up the hill above the line the water had reached. And they did not stop there. They did one more thing. After the water went down, help came. Money was raised for the survivors along the coast and shared out village by village. Aneyoshi did not spend its share on food or timber or rebuilding. It spent the money on a stone and on a few lines cut into it. The stone is not big, 130 centimeters tall, 60 wide, 33 thick. They set it on the road 60 meters above the sea, where everyone walking in or out of the valley would pass it. It does not tell you to run. It does not carry the names of the dead. It says this: high dwellings are the peace and harmony of our descendants. Remember the calamity of the great tsunamis. Do not build any homes below this point. After 1933, more than 600 stones like it went up along this coast. Most of them worn. Many of them mourn. This one does something else. It draws a line. March 2011. The ground moved again. This time, there was no doubt the whole country felt it. The largest earthquake ever recorded in Japan. Warnings went out within minutes. Along this coast, the water came in at up to 40 meters, more than twice what the sea had done in 1896. It took roads, it took trees, it stripped soil off the hillsides. And then it stopped 20 meters below the storm. Everything above that line came through. The houses stood where they had been put in 1933, and they were still standing in the morning. Nobody had to run. Nothing had to be rebuilt. Because for 78 years, nobody had built below the line. There is more written on the stone than the line people quote. Underneath the warning, whoever carved it wrote down why. In 1896 and again in 1933, the tsunami came this far. The village was wiped out. Only 2 survived the first, only 4 the second. They did not carve that as a memorial. They carved it as evidence, the reason for the line above. And then, one last line, not an instruction, not a number. However many years may pass, stay alert. If you want to know what else is under the places you walk, subscribe. We will keep looking.